Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Lighthouse Mouse, and with me today to join me in this Lighthouse to record this review are my good friends Matt Hunter and SC McPeter. Say hi.
You better watch where you turn on that light, buddy.
I'm a pussycat, not an electrician.
We definitely see Sylvester's electrician skills in this one, that's for sure, but we'll certainly get to it. Just a few bits of info to get underway. So as mentioned, this is a review for Lighthouse Mouse, released on the 12th of March 1955. It's the 734th in the series and is directed by Bob McKimson. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Superstars Hibbity Hopper DVD set and high definition versions lurking around. I guess it might be on streaming services or whatever. Hopefully it'll come on disc at some point. It is under copyright. You will not find it here on YouTube unless Warner Brothers themselves choose to upload it on their own channel, as they own the copyright. But in case you haven't seen it, so we have Sylvester. He's a lighthouse keeper's mouse catcher assigned to keep a mouse from unplugging the light, basically. And this mouse just wants a good night's sleep, and eventually, once we see Hibbity Hopper come into the scene, and we'll go through that in just a moment, well, Hibbity Hopper helps the mouse, and we get shenanigans revolving around that. So yeah, it's one of those weird ones where it's for a short. The story is quite complex, but we'll go through it. Not much by way of trivia on this one, although one's pretty important. The quick one is that the working title for this one is Light Mouse Keeping. Ha ha.
Okay.
I don't know which would be the better title, but they're both fine. There's nothing wrong with either, I guess. But more importantly, because of the whole shutdown and how McKimson's unit got wound down earlier and other shorts had to be completed and so on, this is the last short directed by McKimson's old pre-shutdown unit. And it's the last one with Rod Scribner, the famous animator who did those wild animated things for Clampett and would sometimes in McKimson's shorts be the standout wild animated bits in these shorts. So yeah, end of an era, unfortunately.
Yeah, I noted in All Fouled Up, that one, it seems like they were working on that one when the call came to shut down the unit. It looks like McKimson actually split apart his animators. Some worked on All Fouled Up, and most of them worked on this one. And I guess after that, McKimson still had to finish a few cartoons that were put for production, and then he left, which, unfortunate, he was one of their most important artists, but I guess for how important he was, they had to keep him as a director. He did make good pictures, and this is a good one. This one sort of owes a lot to Sid Marcus, the writer, because Sid Marcus actually remade this as a Chilly Willy. I think it's just literally called Lighthouse Keeping. And it features Chilly in just a heckler role, destroying wires and bulbs, like in this cartoon, essentially. I think Sid Marcus is perfect for these kind of cartoons where they were on a formula, but they needed freshening up because he brings a lot of interesting elements. Like, he brings a Scottish man, he brings a lighthouse, he brings an insomniac mouse, and he brings the whole giant mouse aspect as well. Where do you come up with all this?
Right. Sid Marcus was a really capable both writer and director, I think, and, credited largely with the idea of the Tasmanian Devil, which was another wild idea. That was probably, a couple of years before this one. And then he moved to Walter Lantz, and he did a bunch of Chilly Willy cartoons. Didn't he do some Woody, too? Woody
Woodpecker?
He
did. He actually had Art Davis animating on his cartoons there.
Yeah, every time I see his name on one of the Lantz cartoons, not as well versed in them as I am on the Warner Brothers, but I've been watching them on MeTV Tunes, and a lot of those Woody Woodpeckers and Chilly Willys are really good until you get past the period where they're all Paul Smith. It's like, oh, God. Like after the mid-50s or so, Marcus was the one who did the really good ones, and then there were a lot of really bad ones, too.
He really knew how to make good comedy out of limited animation, which happens here because later in the cartoon, there's a whole little montage of Sylvester beating the mouth and Hibbity Hopper beating Sylvester, which is animated by Rob Scribner, and he's bringing a lot of life to limited animation. So clearly Sid Marcus, he knew how to write limited animation. And like Bob McKimson, give it to funny animators like Art Davis.
One of the reasons I chose to help talk about this cartoon is I rewatched it recently, and I just had forgotten, as many times as I've seen it, how funny it is. And a lot of it is not only Sid Marcus's writing, but Mel Blanc performance. He's everybody, literally. You've got him doing the squawking parrot. You've got him doing the Scotsman, the crazy moose loose in the house. You got him doing Sylvester, and he does the ship's captain, too. And Anthony, he's supposed to be Australian, but that bothered you because he doesn't have the Aussie accent.
Hey, what are you trying to do, wreck us? Keep that light on!
That's right. 0 out of 10 this short is now, unfortunately. It's 0 out of 10. They got it completely wrong. And in fact, why would there be a ship that just says Australia on it? That's it. Nah, this is just crap. Sorry, guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Of course, does his typical pair. He's in there. He's in there.
Yeah, like the same or a similar parrot is in Buccaneer Bunny, Friz Freeling.
I was impressed by all the vocalizations in this one. It just showed how Mel Blanc truly was a man of 1,000 voices, just his range. You know it's him, but it's so varied that you forget it's him. And as for this short, I saw it once back when I was watching all the Hippity Hoppers in a row, which is probably not a good idea. They're pretty good, actually, for the most part. They actually range from decent to okay and whatever, but I completely forgot about this because I think it must have blended in with all the others. But this one's great.
This is one of the better ones, and they just needed kind of a B series, and McKimson could make them quickly, kind of like Jones could make the Roadrunner really quickly, and so they just went with a bunch of them. They were pretty popular, and I guess if you see one or two of them, like if they're mixed in with a whole movie theater's day of programming or mixed in with other Looney Tunes, yeah, they're a lot of fun. But again, that DVD you're talking about, if you watch them all in a row, they do get old. And this one, I think, stands out because A, there's no Sylvester Jr., and B, you have all these other interesting side characters. So it really is a standout. And I saw it a lot when I was a kid, and Nickelodeon played it a lot. And I think it's a really great cartoon, especially now that I know the history of this period with the shutdown and everything else. This turned out great.
Let's go through the short and we can go through why it's actually great. Even the opening titles are done pretty well. So we've got that pan, which eventually leads us to this lighthouse, establishing everything. And we even hear the famous sailor song that you would hear in a lot of Popeye's cartoons as well. Right? The sailor's hornpipe, whatever it's called.
Sailor's hornpipe, yeah. I like that font that they write the title in, too. The way they did that, that's really nice.
It does the job of what you would expect, right? But I like the fact that we get this nice little introduction of this mouse's problem where the light's going around as it's supposed to be. It's a lighthouse after all. And how a bit of it would end up shining onto this, it's not a grandfather clock, I don't know what sort of clock it is, but it ends up hitting the pendulum thing and it bounces into this mouse's hole. And you'd wonder why he doesn't just move the bed or cover up the hole. But anyway, we wouldn't have a cartoon otherwise.
He looks pretty well established in that hole. I mean, he's got that bed made of matchsticks and he's got mouse furniture. So obviously this must happen every night. You would think the mouse would just put out a blackout curtain or something, you know?
He probably every night just goes up and unplugs the thing. Or maybe this is the first time where he's just absolutely had enough. I mean, if you look at him throughout the whole short, the eyes are just, he's just had enough.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yes. And I can relate. I definitely can. Especially when the moonlight starts shining through my window and all that. It's like, dude, switch off the moon. But anyway, so we established the premise. The mouse goes up, he unplugs the thing. It's a pretty strong mouse, although later on he needs Hippity Hopper to do it. But anyway, we'll put that aside. So he unplugs it. And we established the whole idea of this lighthouse keeper saying it's that crazy moose, which indicates he probably has this problem very often. And I just love this design of this lighthouse keeper. Oh, and the bird too. It's a 50 style design, but it's nice. I like it.
Right out. Great Scott! It's that crazy moose again. Crazy moose, crazy moose.
Yeah, and just how Sid Marcus, I assume it's Sid Marcus, came up with these characters. Like, we've never seen them before. We never see them again, but they're memorable. The Scotsman lighthouse keeper and his parrot.
Maybe he should be like one of those special characters in one of those multiverse type games, like a special limited character.
Yeah.
It's like, the lighthouse keeper. It's a AAA character. But it's fine for what it is, of course. And sure enough, with the light being off, what happens? A ship ends up crashing into this island and some boxes get off. And I guess that's one way to get Hippity Hopper into the scene, Just have a crate full off this ship that, like I said before, just says Australia on it.
Sorry, Captain. Sorry, Captain. Sorry, Captain. Avast there, mate. Hard astern.
It ends up backing up. Look, yes, I'm overthinking it. This is time for Anthony's overthinking time, yeah? Like, if a ship crashes into a bloody island, they're not going to just leave straight away. They're going to check the hull for damages. Anyway, whatever. I'm sure you guys get the point, okay? I'm sure you'll do.
We got to keep the cartoon moving.
It's not a 2-hour epic of them examining things and speaking with superiors and whatever. But anyway, all that aside, we've established it. We've also established the captain's on Nosy as well. But again, we've got to move on. So Hippity Hopper's here, and we're 2 minutes in, and we finally see Sylvester. And I like the animation here of him just slinking away, that he's just been told, you're not doing your job, you're getting rid of this mouse or moose, as he's been told.
And I love how he just kind of offhand slaps the parrot.
Get up, you good-for-nothing lazy pussycat. While you sleep, that crazy moose is loose in the hoose. Crazy moose loose in the hoose. Ah, crazy moose loose in the hoose. Ah. Quiet, Polly. Now go on upstairs and get that moose before he turns the light off again. Hurry up now, hurry up now.
Like a B story in a sense, where it's him against this mouse or moose. But also you got this B story with him versus this parrot. It's like, oh, I'll get this mouse. Just keep counting. Okay, then. 1, 2, and just starts counting up. It's so great.
There's probably a backstory that we're not seeing of Sylvester and this parrot. I mean, come on. You don't think Sylvester would try to eat that guy? Come on.
I can catch that tiny little mouth in a matter of seconds. Matter of seconds. Matter of seconds. Ah! You said what I heard me blabber, Beak. Just count the seconds, and I'll show you. Count the seconds. Count the seconds. Ah! 1, 2, 3, 4.
And you bet he's probably tried, and judging by the lighthouse keeper, you know why he doesn't.
Maybe the lighthouse keeper was going to try to eat him, because I have a page of some studies that were made for him, and some of the earlier concepts portrayed him as having a bit more of a gut, so maybe he was going to eat the parrot at one point.
Sylvester's like, yeah, I'll get the mouse. So after slowly slinking away, he's like, yes, I'll get the mouse. And he goes up, and the mouse tries to unplug the light again. But again, for some reason, he was able to unplug it before, but now he can't. So we see that Hippity Hopper does all that. By the way, before I forget, I like how Sylvester says his now trademark, shut up.
Shut up.
Not his best delivery.
He's tired too.
But this is a great layout here where you see that, okay, it appears that the mouse is going to unplug the thing, but it's actually the fact that Hippity Hopper jumps into the scene there. I mean, how great is that layout?
Yeah. You first get him hopping up the stairs, which is pretty cool. And then you got Sylvester. He sets the mouse trap under the cord, and you assume it's going to be the mouse. Is that Scribner there doing Sylvester's reaction falling apart?
I think so, yeah. Scribner was still doing really funny pieces towards the very end of this, and McKimson, thankfully. I know McKimson said to one of our friends, well, I tried to give him wild stuff. And clearly Scribner was going to try and make it wild no matter what, even at this stage.
That wonderful take there, his mouth just dropping, just the reaction, falling apart, just, wow.
And he did a similar thing in the Porky Pig cartoon, The Prize Pest. Yeah. Where Daffy Duck sees Porky in the Halloween costume, and he does the same kind of thing. The jaw drops, and then he just falls apart. And then I'm not sure who's doing the scene with Sylvester when he goes to the medicine cabinet, but it was reused a couple of times in a couple of later, you'd call them cheater cartoons.
You get a lighthouse eyes. It's stigmatism. That's what it is. Stigmatism. I need vitamins. Vitamins! Big mouth! Whoop! Vitamins! Vitamins! That's what I need.
There's one by Freeling. We see that bit of animation again, where Sylvester puts in the eye drops, and then he takes the bottle of pills, and then he even just showers himself in the pills. That we've seen again.
They betray the breakdown a little bit more creatively, like, rather than just him trying to come to terms and Sylvester Jr., oh, for the shame of it, we have him have this overreaction. He overdoses on a bunch of medical products. He puts the drops in his eyes.
I guess it's stigmatism. Yeah. That's what it is. It's stigmatism. Yeah. Just that delivery, it's great. But we then see the actual mouse conspiring with Hippity Hopper, and the plug is removed again. I like that this little twist here, where in the past, a lot of the Hippity Hopper shorts would be just a case of you have your mouse, you have your giant mouse, in this case, Hippity Hopper, but the two don't really know what's going on. Things just happen. But here they know what's going on. They actually do conspire, which I thought was a nice little twist. Great one.
I think the last time it happened was in the second one, Hippity Hopper.
I love the lighting. Obviously, it's about a lighthouse. You're going to have the lighting, but, a lot of people, I know at least one person on Facebook that's kind of a McKimson hater and particularly doesn't like Dick Thomas's background work. But you look at the scene here where they pull the plug again and you see the parrot squawking, but you see the moonlight as opposed to the lighthouse light. You see the parrot and you see the reflection of the window in the background. I just think that's really well done. And the way that they could dim the lights and then turn them back on, that's a cool effect.
He could do good work. I just think he kind of may have just gone bogged down, or he may have just been a little literal, but Yeah, I don't think he was that bad, but he did good work for Tashlin as well.
You
He's
look
more
at-
than capable at his job.
Yeah. You look at how they do the contrast between when the lights are on and the lights are off. I think it's a really cool design. And then you obviously Scribner with the mallet and the club.
It's great animated bit, and I like the fact that, the two of them team up, but you can clearly see that while the mouse has his objective, which is he just wants that damn light off, but Hippity Hopper just thinks this is all a game. He's like a child. And I like
Yeah.
that whole dynamic they've got going there. It's great.
You got Sylvester. He nails the cord to the wall, which of course would probably electrocute him if it wasn't a cartoon. He's got the club, and you see him kind of sneak off behind the wall there, and then Hippity, you see his shadow, but it's not Hippity's shadow, it's the mouse, and he's got a mallet, and then he clobbers Sylvester in the foot. That's totally Rod Scribner doing that.
Yeah,
Great
I think my
animation.
favorite piece of Rod Scribner comes up in a little bit where it's the open door, you see Sylvester beating the mouse, and then you see Hippity Hopper beat him. That's really limited animation because he's using so few drawings for each of them, but it's really funny. He makes sure you get your money's worth for each drawing there.
And I like the fact that, unlike a lot of the other Hippity Hopper shorts where he insists that, hey, it's a giant mouse, there's a small mouse, here, he sees that there's two of them. He's like, oh, it must be my white blood corpuscles.
Come on, you little pipsqueak. Open up. Open up. I got you cornered. Open up before I... Jump on Jehovahphat. It must be my white blood corpuscles.
He's still in rejection somehow of everything.
Here, there are two of them, but he's like, no, I must be seeing things. And
Yeah.
that bit where it alternates between the shot of Sylvester winning against the small mouse and then losing against the quote-unquote big mouse. It's just a great bit of animation there.
Hold it, wise guy.
And we still get the whole running gag with the parrot where it's like, oh, just keep counting, and the parrot just does these stupidly high numbers just to keep going with it.
70,842. 70,843. Get the mouse. Get the mouse. Get the mouse. Keep counting, Buster.
You get the mouse using metal scissors to cut an electrical cord, which, would that not in real life electrocute him? There he goes. And the lights are out again. Now you've got the Scotsman with a shillelagh.
He's going to give him a
Shillelagh.
shellacking.
Lights out. Lights out. I'll fix that good-for-nothing pussycat. Lights out. Lights out.
I would imagine that bit of him cutting the cord would have actually been cut for TV, you would think, for the kids.
Then you get the bit where Sylvester gets shocked.
This is a really foul cartoon when you think about it.
Like, reminds me of the scene, the one that Freeling did, Canned Feud, where Sylvester gets electrocuted. I don't know, Sylvester getting electrocuted is always funny, but
Yeah.
that's a pretty good drawing there. I remember seeing it on Nickelodeon as a kid, and they were generally pretty lenient about that kind of stuff. I don't remember seeing it cut.
Did the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show many of these Hippity Hoppers?
I don't recall. I mean, he was in the opening of the original Bugs Bunny show.
I think they replaced him with Porky.
I think you're right.
I guess that just showed which cartoons were more popular, but I guess that would reflect because Nickelodeon had it.
That's where I saw it all the time. They played it to death. We get a scene, too, with a cartoonishly large firecracker.
Yeah. Sid Marcus loved his basic slapstick at times, and he would indulge in that.
Lights on. Lights out. I'm a pussycat, not an electrician. Safe.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, Scotsman beats the crap out of Sylvester, and then we get this great payoff at the end.
Animated by Bob McKimson himself.
Sylvester becomes the Lighthouse.
Exactly. And just before that, I liked how Sylvester is an experienced electrician about how he's able to patch everything up himself. But he can be very dangerous. So kids, if you're watching this, don't try it at home. Okay? Please don't. And we end up with that final wonderful line. Who would have ever thought being a pussycat would be so complicated? I'm sure if our cats could talk, Matt, I'm sure that's what they'd be saying.
They probably would. Especially when I'm in the process of moving right now, and my apartment is literally a pile of boxes. and they don't like that at all. Well,
Exactly.
the empty ones they like.
This is a relatively basic cartoon, but there's something likable about it. I don't dislike it like I would some of McKimson's later cartoons.
Yeah, this is one of
Yeah.
the better hippie hoppers for sure.
I would put this maybe an 8 or 9. Like, this is decent. This is funny.
Yeah, I would give it about the same score too.
Give it an 8 as well.
Yeah, it's a solid short. It's nothing quote unquote special. Like it doesn't have the X factor or anything, but it's just a solidly well made. And given that this is the last of the original McKimson unit, they've gone out on a high note, which is, for sure. But no, it's a great one. But that will do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next time, watch out for the moose.
Crazy moose, moose in the house.
That's all, folks.
I never thought just being a pussycat could be so complicated.